So what I'd like to do is, there are a couple of things I'd like to do with that is concerned. But before we work out any agreements long-term on bargaining when it comes to union contracts, I want to make sure the workforce is legal and documented. That's very important. There's also a disconnect, and I don't know if you know about this, Jack, but there's certain unions, like construction unions, who do have asked for documentation to join. So there's even a split within the unions.
Where you have journeymen.
Exactly, exactly. So there's a split, and what I've noticed now is that when I talk to union local halls, they love my platform and they would like to support us. But when they go back to their national and say that we like Leo, they say, well, unless Leo drops E-Verify, we can't endorse him. So that's what I'm running into. And so, you know, what can you say? The bottom line is E-Verify is not going anywhere. Folks have to go to work. People have to get off government assistance. Those jobs have to be there. And if you know anything about DC, there were certain jobs, blue-collar jobs, service, hospitality, and construction. Those were mainly Washingtonian jobs. You know, we didn't need any foreigners to come in and work those jobs. We have people ready to go. And there's, yes, right. And you're right. She said cab drivers back there. That's a serious issue. So what we want to do is, number one, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because there's a law on the books that prevents people who have a felony arrest to even be a cab driver in the District of Columbia. And we've got to look at that. I believe in second chances. I believe if you've done the right thing and you've come out now and you want to work, you should be able to drive a cab. I mean, if you're going to allow undocumented people from coming over here, breaking out law to come here and work, you know, we got to take care of our own. That's the bottom line. Yes, sir.
I'd like to get your comments on one of the most recent immigrants to our city, or to Washington, D.C., a very talented immigrant. His name's Donovan McNabb.
I love Donovan. I was hoping he would wear the silver and black, I'll be honest with you. But he's here in Washington, and I think he's going to do a great job. I'm excited about him. I hope they get him some protection. Okay? So that, yeah, he needs an offensive line. But I guess now that we're into sports, I guess that wraps this thing up. But thank you so much. She wanted me to touch on something having to do with social workers, and I'm going to mention that real briefly. A part of my education plan is to introduce a program called the Needs Assessment. And basically it'll work like this. Everyone who's receiving government assistance, who has a child in DCPS, will be required to take a needs assessment. And the reason is we need to find out what's going on in the household, whether they're illiteracy issues, substance abuse issues, mental health issues, chronic unemployment, vocational education, whatever they need. We have to find out what's going on in the household, because I firmly believe there's a reason why that we have the smallest school district in the region. We spend more per child than any school district in the region, but we have the worst performing test scores than any other district in the region. And I think it's not because of the teachers, because they're low-hanging fruit. You can always kick around the teachers union. And you can always blame the children, those damn kids, you know? You can always say that. But it's not. It's the families that those children come from. They're broken. And unless we fix those families, we will never shore up the community. And that's what this is about. Thank you very much. I got one more question, and then I'll work the room. Yes, ma'am.
My question follows on along with the E-Verify.
Please,
issue.
please.
Okay, I'm actually from Arizona.
Uh-huh.
We were the first state to implement E-Verify statewide.
Yes.
Now, the connection between Phoenix and Washington, D.C. is the hospitality industry. All those hotels in Phoenix, Arizona implement E-Verify, and none of those hotels suffered for want of employees, because as soon as those illegal aliens left the state, those jobs were filled by the citizenry.
Wonderful.
Okay? So with regards to the Washington, D.C. area, I mean, Washington, D.C. does not suffer for want of any kind of industry, especially the hospitality industry.
That's right.
So there's absolutely no reason why local Washingtonians can't have those jobs.
That's right.
So I was going to suggest, have you thought of maybe visiting the Sheratons, the Marriotts or whatever, and going in and talking to them and saying, you know, you do E-Verify in Phoenix, Arizona, why can't you do E-Verify here in Washington, D.C. and hire us here?
I'll answer that by saying I haven't visited the management, the corporate offices yet, but I have been there to actually watch and see what's going on. And I was on an elevator the other day at a hotel at the corner of 16th and Rhode Island Avenue. They had a rooftop deck function going on. It's about 16 stories high. But the bottom line is I got on an elevator with 3 other people of Hispanic origin. The one guy could speak fluent English. He translated my conversation with the other 2 people on the elevator who couldn't speak a word. Right then I said, okay, stop the madness. We know what happened here. These people, there's no way in the world that they're legal. Look, I firmly believe if you can't speak a word of English, come on, stop it. And we don't need to allow more people in our country to work service industry jobs. We got Washingtonians that can take care of that. So, no, I haven't spoken with management, but I'm looking forward to sitting across from them at the table when I'm mayor. That's right. Yes.
Make a quick comment?
Yes, please, go ahead.
I just want to make a quick comment that, you know, oftentimes, you know, we think of as certain groups, certain ethnic groups, as a monolithic voting bloc, you know, with regard to legal immigration. I think it's important to remember that a lot of these ethnic groups don't necessarily support illegal immigration, not necessarily because their communities are often impacted first, hit hardest, worst, and so forth. I mean, they're pushed out of jobs too. So it's important to remember that it's not various ethnic groups per se that might be on the other side. Some of them could be allies with them as well.
You're absolutely right. Thank you so much, Leah. And thank you very much for attending.